First things first, we're just outside the van. Just wanted to show you the intro with the key fob. Unlock like any other key fob you've ever used. Once you have that, the slide door opens like this. You can open the van and get inside. Okay, the next thing, popping the top, super easy. It's basically two steps. First is this seat belt here. Just like a seatbelt release, let go of that. And then there's these two levers to push down. You hear those pop. And I literally just sort of stand up into it. Of course, you can push it. Here are the hydraulics here, right? Next thing to do, pull the bed up and it slides along this rail. Lift it over that tab. And this is your upstairs bed, okay? And this will stay like this as long as you keep it behind that tab. Now you have a working space to stand within the van, okay? That's opening the top. Next thing I want to show you is the kitchen. The kitchen includes this refrigerator, here's the stove, and here's the sink. You open the stove and the sink with these two tabs here. You have your sink here. This moves up and down. There's your water turn off, turn on, turn off. Also, this is not drinking water. This is just for washing hands and dishes. The stove opens very swiftly like so. This top part opens up and you'll see this little, and turn it. That'll keep your stove open. When you light the stove, you have two flames. You push down on the knobs, turn them, and put your lighter here, just like you would with an outdoor camp stove. In fact, the refrigerator has several functions. Disregard the flame. So this company will admit any day that you call them, they didn't build the greatest product. So if the van's not perfectly level, this won't work. And to achieve perfect level will take you probably most of your camp trip. So I just suggest disregard this altogether. You can turn this on when you're driving and it'll make sure the battery doesn't depress too much or drain too much. And this is if you're in a campsite and you want to plug in the side of the van. There's a cord underneath the bench seat that you can plug in the side of the van into whatever that location is, and all the electrical will run off of that, okay? The refrigerator, you pop this pin, and then you have plenty of space to put food. Now, bear in mind, this will not keep your food icy cold. It'll keep it from spoiling and maybe cold, depending on time of year. In the summertime, keeps it from spoiling. In the wintertime, it'll keep it generally cold. And then turn this off on this off button. So if I turn this on here, that would be the deep cell battery in the back of the van, not the front of the van that runs the car. But when you stop, and you can keep this on for maybe an hour after you stop, turn it off so you don't drain the battery too much. You'll know if you're draining the battery because of this battery level here. You'll see this battery is drained. Here's your LP, so that's your propane level. And here's your fresh water. So it's full of fresh water. And then the holding tank is the tank that holds the water that you used in the sink. So this is about half full right now. Fresh water's totally full, propane's low, and the battery condition is low as well. So you'll know that if you've drained your battery, and it'll regenerate unless the battery's totally dead once you start the van, okay? Okay, so here's how you open up the downstairs bench seat into a bed. This handle, you want to put your thumb at the top, pull at the bottom with your hand, pull the lever open with your hand, and then pull, instead of with the handle hand, pull with the other hand on the seat itself. And what you're waiting for is that click. So it's just two pins that went into the rail of the bed. So you're waiting for that click. That click, it sounds like that. To put the bed back, I stand, use the lever the same way, and push in the middle of the bed. Now, with your other hand, you're going to have to lift slightly, and you're waiting for that same click, okay? So again, you're going to wait for that click. that sound.
All right, now I'll just open the bed completely to show you how the entire thing works. Okay, so again, we sit in the middle, pull it until we hear the pin click.
There's a lever right here. You're gonna pull that out. And the bed opens up flat. This part of your mattress pulls forward. Now you have yourself a bed. Okay, put this back, folds up, collapses in the back there. And you reverse the order by pulling this up. Step on the seat and this top part here when it's closed, of course, and prop yourself up. That's the easiest way. Make sure not to step on the armrest because they will break. So that's the best way to get up on the upstairs bed, or if it's kids, you can just pick them up and put them up there. But you can prop yourself up by pushing down here and on the bed and step on the seat and your foot here, and then you can easily step up. So this is gonna have a lot of content that you're gonna wanna use throughout your trip. Just to name a few, you have a little cooler here. Here's a little Frisbee. This has spatula and tongs and ladles. Please don't use metal on the pots and pans, which are here. You have a pan, 2 pots, one's inside of here, a strainer. Here's a towel. There's a freshwater bladder for drinking. Again, the sink is just for doing dishes and washing your hands. The next thing I want to show you is the pantry. This is where you're gonna have most of your food. I have all kinds of stuff in here. There's a French press. There's a kettle for percolating coffee. There's a lot of utensils down here, forks, knives, etc. There's also a really handy light in here. So if you press that, you can also keep it pressed and it'll dim. Or just hit it again to turn it off. The pantry is sort of a catch-all drawer. You have some headlamps in here, some lights, a lighter for lighting your stove, hand sanitizer, some matches. And then up here, you have your dishes, cups, plates, and bowls. Next, I want to show you how to swivel these chairs around. Both work identically, so I'll show you how to do this one on the passenger side, because it's most commonly used. So the first thing you want to take note of is this handle. That handle is going to be pulled up, and you're going to rotate the chair. There's another handle at the front, just like any other car, to pull the seat up. Pull this handle and rotate. Sometimes you're gonna have to put the back of the chair up because it'll hit here the fire extinguisher. So that crank is on the side here. These both lift up, by the way. Please take note that this is how you raise and lower the angle of the armrest. Don't pull on it because these get loose and you can break them. So they both come up and down. The seat also will not lock in place. It'll just continue to swivel. And the other thing, very important note, it's in the owner's manual as well. The van will not start with the chair turned around. It's a safety issue. It's a safety precaution. Now I want to show you how to use the tables. These are fantastic. There's 2 of them. They can sit side by side. They also slide. I usually use just 1. However, 2 is always fun. So the object of the table is to fit that groove. It's easier when the top is up because you want to put it at an angle where it simply fits in. The leg extends, and you can slide this table as well. There's the pin. Push that in, table goes in, you lift up, and it falls out. And then when you put it back, there is a strap that holds them in. Put that strap back around, or else they'll fall while you're driving. A couple other features inside the van I want to show you are the windows. Then you'll notice this crank can both be with your finger. That'll open up the glass there. There's also a great window on the side that has a lever just behind us during the day. At night, you can close that back up, locks it up. Okay. Another great feature for all the windows except the front windows is once you close up the van, if you want privacy, you can close these, they Velcro shut. Similarly over here, the 2 sides close together, Velcro in the middle. I
typically keep those closed at night when I go to sleep. There's one in the back as well and one for the side window, and they all function the same way. I also keep the sun visors on the front windshield for privacy. The side windows have no privacy, but I've never had an issue. So you close these all up, you basically have a completely private sleeping quarter.
Got a lot of good stuff back here. There's a storage area here. Currently I have some tools, but that's where camp chairs go and some luggage. I also, while I'm driving, put a lot of my luggage here, and then we'll later put it down below when I sleep. Here you have a closet. This open and closes both from this side as well as the front side. Out here you have a couple of places that you can just put some gear if you need to access it quickly. The tarp is there for whatever you need to use it for. Disregard this panel. This is the electric panel to the whole van. This is a water spigot, exterior water spigot. There's an on button. This retracts like old school sinks in the homes in the 70s or whatever. And you gotta sometimes push that cord down and then make sure you turn it off. If you need to fill the water back up, it's very easy because this water fills in one tank that furnishes water to the indoor sink and this exterior spigot. But you literally just put a hose right in the end there, fill it up. When the water starts coming out, you know you're full. But typically you never have to do that because the water's filled when the van's rented. On the side here, this is a vent, this is a vent, 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 disregard. They're just there for van circulation. This here is your electrical outlet if you were to go to a campsite and have electrical availability. There's a plug there. I have the cord underneath the bench seat. On the side, you'll see some valves and so forth. There's really only two to concern yourself with. The one all the way to the right here is your propane. Okay, so righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. When you are parked and camping, go ahead and loosen it up. You can keep it open. Your heater and your stove will work off of that. When you're driving, just turn it to the right, hand tight. And then down here, you also have your holding tank water release. I typically do that when the van's brought back, but if you feel compelled, you'd pull this cap off and open up this valve and the water will come rushing. So the gas cap has a key. It's very simple. Put the key in, you turn it loose to the left, and that'll enable the lock to turn the cap off. And then when you close it back up, you turn the cap till you hear that sound, turn it right, then your key comes out. So I just want to point out a couple things about the driving. It's just like driving any other car. It starts like any other car that still uses a key. It's an automatic. It also has a hand brake there that I engage whenever I park the van. It is a pretty heavy van. Speaking of the heaviness of the van, just keep in mind that the van is 6,000 pounds, so brake sooner than you think until you get used to it. Turn slower than you would normally until you get used to it. And the stereo, everything here works, right? You have all the heating system. This is the fan for the back. The stereo works great. It does Bluetooth. However, I would plug your phone into the Bluetooth outlet. And then on the side here, this little lever is for the cruise control. So you turn that on and you push set. Unlike current cruise controls in vehicles, it will not accelerate or decelerate with this handle.
Okay, just a couple more videos. This is the one to put the top back down. It's just reverse order of the top back up.
When we bring this down, the first thing I do is do the seat belt, so you don't have to hold the top. And then you want to bring your canvas in, right? And this will be very intuitive when you see it. But basically, you don't want to close the top with the canvas sticking out. And then in the corners, you want to sort of roll it in the corner because you're going to see these hooks that need to go into their place there, okay? So you're rolling the canvas into the corner so you can put the hooks in there on both sides. What I then do is I pull this down after I roll in my canvas, pull it down closer, and then I go outside to make sure none of it's heavy. So when you're checking to make sure the canvas is okay, you grab your handy dandy do-it-yourself fire board, pizza board, cheese board, whatever you want to call it. Well, might be hanging out like it is right there. So because the awning's in the way, you just simply push the fabric up into to much more obvious. You just put this in with your hand. Okay, once you've done your walk around and your canvas is within the van, you just simply come up and you pull on these two handles and wait to hear the click. So that's Morrison. Have a great time. Please keep in mind, he's our personal vehicle and our buddy. We've had many great trips. A lot of people have had many great trips. Just treat him like he's your own, like you'd want anybody to treat your own vehicle, and you have a blast. And don't hesitate to contact me if you have any questions, okay? Have a great trip, and thank you so much.